All right, next up, graphing standard form. So we just learned how to graph slope-intercept form. If you forgot how to do it, just watch the last video. But now we're going to talk about the second one, or actually the third one we talked about in class recently, is standard form, which is a linear equation on how to graph a straight line. All right, standard form is written as ax plus by equals c. All right, your standard equation. And that's how I remember it, because it looks like a standard simple addition problem. Something plus something equals an answer. Everything's in alphabetical order. So everything's looking good. So it's standard form. Now, in this case, we don't have a y-intercept. That kind of stands out. We don't have a slope from this. That's why intercept and slope aren't in the name. We don't have it in its original state. However, we're going to use a method. There's lots of different methods on how to graph one of these equations. One, we could either convert this into slope-intercept form and then graph it that way, or we can use a different method, which I like to use, which is called finding the x and y intercepts. And that rule is let x equal 0, then solve for y. Actually, it has like two little parts to the rule. So we're going to let x equal 0 and then solve for y. And then the second part of the rule is the exact opposite, or like the inverse. Let y equal 0, then solve for x. All right, we're going to do both of these things, and we're going to be able to graph it, because this will allow us to find the x-intercept where the line touches the x-axis, and the y-intercept where the line also is going to touch the y-axis. So let's do an example. Let's see here. Let's do something that's going to fit on my graph, because I did not make a big graph. Let's do 2x plus 4y equals 8. All right, standard form. I got my x and my y, which we always need when it comes to linear equations, and it's obviously in standard form. So I could take this and I could move the 2x over by subtracting it from both sides, and then divide everything by 4, and I'd have slope-intercept form. But another way to do it is to, as I said before, finding the x and y intercepts. So essentially, if I let x equal 0, and 2 times 0 is just 0, we eliminate that by letting that equal 0. So by letting x equal 0, all I'm left with is 4y equals 8. All right, that's all I'm left with. Nope, let me finish on the equal sign. There we go. So by letting x equal 0, all I'm left with is 4y equals 8. Now, just the reverse, if I let y equal 0, then that cancels that part out, and all I'm left with is 2x equals 8. So essentially, if you've noticed, if you're trying to find the x and y intercepts with standard form, all you want to do is take the very first term, set it equal to the answer, take the second term, set it equal to the answer. And you have two little one-step equations. You solve for those, then I'll have my x-intercept, and I'll have my y-intercept. All right, so the opposite of multiplying by 2 is to divide by 2. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. That cancels out the 2, leaving me just with x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. That is where the line is going to cross over the y-axis. I'm sorry, the x-axis. So we'll go to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a dot right there. Now let's find out where it's going to cross the y-axis. Divide both sides by 4. Cancel that out. Y is going to be 2. So put a little dot on 2. And then I have my graph. Simple enough. All right, let's do another one with some negative signs in or a subtraction sign. So let's erase this real quick. La, 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 la. Oops. Let's do it this way. Because I don't want to mess up my lovely graph as much as possible. Here we go. All right, so let's do negative 3x plus 2y equals 12. All right. So this is still standard form. I could have made that a minus, but I didn't. We just have a negative sign out in front. So once again, if we are solving for the x and y intercepts, all we're really doing is we're taking the first term, which is that term right there, and we're going to set that equal to the answer. Negative 3x equals 12. And then we're going to take the second term and set that equal to the answer. Now you might have noticed when I put the box around the second term, I also included the operation sign. Because if that's a minus sign right there, I'd have to put the minus sign out in front, and that would make that a negative 2. So now all we need to do is solve both little mini one-step equations, and we'll have our x-intercept and our y-intercept. So here the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is to divide by negative 3, but I got to do the same thing to both sides. Whoop. That cancels that out. X is going to be 12 divided by 3 is 4. But a positive divided by negative. If you're in school, your ride is waiting out front. Somebody's ride is here. Let me make that negative 4 because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Over here, divide both sides by 2 to free up that y all by itself, and y is 6. So I got my x-intercept, I got my y-intercept. So my x-intercept is negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the x-axis, y is 6 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll draw our line through. And there's our graph. We have a positive graph. The line's going up. Actually, let me add something to this. Because I mentioned that you can actually take the standard form and switch it over into slope-intercept form and graph it that way. So let's see if I can remember what I wrote down. Minus 3x, and it was plus 2 equals 12. I think that's what I wrote down before. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Oops. Forgot the y. All right, so that's the original equation. Now, suppose you wanted to change it into slope-intercept form, okay? In slope-intercept form, we know is y equals mx plus b. So basically what you want to do is you want to take this equation and kind of rearrange it to match up with slope-intercept form. So I'm going to get y all by myself on the left side of the equal sign. That means I need to move this term with an x, this negative 3x, over to the other side, and then eventually get rid of that 2. All right, so let's do that. So if I want to move this over to the other side, the opposite of subtracting 3x is to add 3x. That lets me cancel it out on this side. It's gone. But whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 3x over here. Now let's take care of that step first. So I'm adding 3x to both sides. That leaves me with 2y equals 3x plus 12. I put the x value first, with the term of the x in it first, and then the number second, because that's what I'm looking for over here. I want the x value first and then a number. All right. Now, slope-intercept form says y equals mx plus b. It doesn't say 2y. So we got to get rid of the 2. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 will be to divide by 2. But we have to divide everything over here by 2 as well. So whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. That the 2's cancel out. Now I just have y equals. Now, a lot of you guys are going to want to divide that and turn it into a decimal. Don't. That is our slope. It's better to have a slope as a fraction because we have our rise and our run. So it's going to be 3 over 2x plus 12 divided by 2 is 6. And there we have slope-intercept form, and we could have graphed it that way. And remember from the last video on how to graph slope-intercept form, you put the y-intercept first, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you know? That y-intercept is right on 6. And then from there, you would plot another point. As that's your starting point, you would go up 3 over 2. So from that point, I go up 1, 2, add another line. 3 over 2, 1, 2. And we are right back on the line. All right, so that's how you graph standard form. Now I've covered in different videos to help the class out, graphing in slope-intercept form, graphing in standard form, and how to use point-slope form. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me in class, and I will see you soon.